going on, Jerome's? So, of course, we are obviously enjoying, the Vikings' very fun 9-2 season in a rebuilding year. And the Vikings this offseason, they'll have some decisions to make. What happens with Sam Darnold? What happens with the myriad of free agents on defense? Vikings have all the cap space that you would want in the world, and the Vikings will be players in free agency. But the draft, of course, is the draft, and it's a lot of fun, man. And yes, is it too early to be talking about mock drafts? Yes, but also, I mean, Kwesi, the scouting department, have been wrist deep, actually like full on elbow, all up to the armpit deep in draft coverage, attending games, checking out players, doing the due diligence. So absolutely love it, man. Now the Vikings, a little bit bereft of draft picks in 2025. They're projected to have at least a third round draft pick from comp picks, but overall, like they did cash in quite a bit of chits, trading up for J.J. McCarthy, future franchise quarterback. Fine with that, as well as Diamond Dallas Turner, who saved a touchdown against the Bears, by the way, on special teams. Right, I got no worries about Dallas Turner. I mean, there will be another presidential election before Dallas Turner's rookie deal is done, so no sweating, man. Like there's a backlog of edge rushers. Turner has got a ton of skill, and he's gonna be perfectly fine, man. Right. But long story longer, Josh Edwards over at CBS Sports did up a 2025 NFL mock draft, and yeah, the Vikings at the back end, they got some nice. So Vikings needs heading into the draft. Well, all of it depends on free agency, right? Who is back, who is signed. But as of right now, currently, interior O-line, D-line, running back, corner. Yeah, pretty straightforward. But, of course, those needs certainly could change. But diving on in, at 1-1, Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars. Now, Josh does mention that there could be some trades here. The quarterback tax is certainly in play. But Hunter, I don't know. Like, Hunter is a very good wide receiver. He's a very good corner. Now, does that mean Heisman? Don't know. But he's not going to play both ways in the NFL. Like maybe he'll moonlight on one side of the ball. Frankly, I think that he should be a receiver and maybe some sub-package corner, maybe. But I think that his best chance to quick impact on a team as well as Case is going to be at wide receiver. He's a stud. 3 touchdowns on Friday. Let's go. Shedeur Sanders, the guy who threw the touchdowns. And Shedeur, it's going to be interesting draft because it's not as top heavy at quarterback as last year, and frankly, if Sanders and Cam Ward were in last year's draft class, I think that they go 7 and 8. All right, I don't think that they're even on the level of a J.J. McCarthy or a Bo Nix or a Drake May or a Michael Penix Jr. Right, so Shedeur, there's a lot to like about his game. Love his toughness. I mean, have to be behind that Colorado offensive line. He throws with accuracy, and you may not like his antics at times, but he is a true leader of men, right? And Shedeur, I think, is going to be perfectly fine in this league. Him with the Giants, him and Malik Neighbors, I kind of love it. Pretty fantastic, man. Cam Ward going to the Raiders. Raiders definitely need an overhaul, but Ward could be that guy that's box office. I love the way that he plays, combination of size and the arm, so it's good. It's going to be good to go, right? McMillan from Arizona. I mean, can you bring Noah Fafita as well? But McMillan is huge. I love it, man. Will Johnson. So I was kind of hoping that Will Johnson would fall. My favorite cornerback in the draft. Former J.J. McCarthy teammate. It's going to be good times. Abdul Carter. What is it, honestly, with Penn State? It really is linebacker you. Abdul Carter, I mean, if he could have declared last year, he would have been a top 10 pick. He probably would have been the first edge rusher off the board. Mason Graham, a guy that I coveted for a long time, but he's going to be way out of the Vikings' range, a combination of size and disruption on the inside. Then you got Campbell, you got Scruton, you got Tyleik Williams from Georgia. Man, what was the deal with Georgia and Georgia Tech? 17,000 overtimes. Genty, unfortunately, going to the Cowboys. This one makes too much sense. And I wonder if Jerry Jones is going to screw this up. I don't know, man. I don't know, but I like that. I feel like the pendulum has swung back where teams aren't afraid to draft running backs high again, but we'll see. Especially a guy who's as talented as Genty. I could also see Judkins from the Ohio State University, who we're going to see today against Michigan, sneaking into the back end of the first round as well. Kenneth Grant, the other Michigan D-line. Michigan's got studs all over the place. They just lost J.J. McCarthy. That's why they don't win national titles anymore. Morrison, Booker. So the interior offensive line class, of this draft is going to be pretty damn studly. And frankly, if the Vikings want to partake, although I still think that they should be players in free agency on the interior offensive line, notably Chiefs right guard Trey Smith, as well as Colts center Ryan Kelly, even though he's a little bit longer in the tooth. Sure, Luther Burden's going to be a stud, and him going to Tampa Bay, maybe essentially replacing Mike Evans, or whatever happens with Godwin, who I think is going to be a free agent too. It's not bad. Then the Texans. So the Texas has 2 bookend tackles in Banks and Williams. Both going to be massive studs in this league. Pierce, it's kind of low for Pierce. There's a lot of people who think that Pierce could be the best player in this draft when it's all said and done. I think that his ceiling is through the roof. But I mean, if the Falcons can get him at 19, it's a freaking steal, man. Absolutely is. Then this is going to be a weird draft because, I mean, I think this is going to be a 2-quarterback draft. Right, yeah, I do. Vikings clock in at 28. We'll get there in a sec. Donovan Jackson, also from the Ohio State University, is going to be fantastic in this league as well. Overton on the other side of the ball, quick twitch, 3-tech is going to be a lot of fun. But the Vikings who the Lions take? All right, so Chiefs take Burke and Jalen Walker. So the Vikings at 28 taking Tyleik Williams, were massive size nose tackle, 6'3", 327. And I kind of like that we were getting back to we have the meats. Even though the Vikings have been very good at stopping the run, just having an immovable nose tackle, I think certainly it is going to help things out quite a bit and makes everyone's jobs easier on defense. And this is what Josh wrote. Minnesota's defensive personnel has exceeded expectations this season, but that is not a sustainable approach. Okay. The Vikings need to address the secondary in addition to defensive tackle this offseason, and Williams is just monstrous from the Ohio State University. Like we said, we're going to see him today against Michigan, trying to shut down their running game, and he is the man in the middle in Columbus, and it's really fun to watch him. Where I'm still trying to think stylistically, the type of player that he is. I mean, is he a combination of a little bit more in control, T'Vondre Sweat, maybe a little bit of Linval Joseph in there as well, not quite as polished as a pass rusher, but also, I mean, Linval wasn't an elite pass rusher at East Carolina or with the Giants either, but when he came to the Vikings, that's when things really came together for him. I don't know, but Williams is senior, 6'3", 327, 2-year starter for the Buckeyes, consistently moves the line of scrimmage, handles double teams, very good at 2-gapping, so that's his floor. Floor right now is an elite 2-down run stuffing nose tackle, but he does have 11.5 sacks for his career on top of 116 tackles. So, I mean, he's doing the damn thing, and he was a rotational guy early on at Ohio State, a starter for the last 2 years, and he's just been a stud. This year, an 82.9 PFF run defense grade as well as 14 stops, and like we said, his floor right now is that elite run stuffer and a guy who's going to make it very difficult for teams to move the ball in the middle. And also, since he's consistently taken up 2 gaps as well as 2 bodies on the offensive line, that makes it a lot easier for linebackers to scrape. That makes it a lot easier for other defensive linemen to do their job as they're singled up. And, of course, just absorbing bodies. It's just a numbers game on the outside, because then the 5-techs take up bodies, and then all of a sudden you got guys on the edge like AVG and Grenard and Dallas Turner just coming free off of the edge. So it is something that, like I said, like Harrison Phillips earned the extension, and he is phenomenal, but there's always talk about him moving off the nose, moving off the 0-1 tech, and I do think that bringing in a guy like Williams would afford them to do that, where Phillips could be that 3-tech, 4-tech, 5-tech. Tillery and Bullard, we'll see if they're both back. Both of them are on 1-year deals, so I like this pick a lot. Like, honestly, if the Vikings can land Tyleik Williams at 28, but really it's going to be 32, that's going to be a hell of an addition for the Vikings. And also, frankly, it's something that's not going to be available in free agency, just that true blue, massive size nose tackle. And I think that Williams is a guy that's ascending as well, developing as a pass rusher. And could Williams' ceiling be that of a sexy Dexter Lawrence? I mean, maybe. Like, the upside is there. He does play a little bit high, but he does have some twitch for his size. So, I mean, Lawrence is obviously a much more polished of a pass rusher coming in out of Clemson as a first-round pick by the Giants. But I don't know. Like, I like this pick a lot. I know it's not the sexiest selection in the world, but for me, just being able to be physical and just stressing on not moving along the along the trenches and being able to establish your line and just push your will. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it, man. We indeed need to be back to having the meats again. 330-pound nose tackles, 315-pound guards. Let's go. Let's go, man. Your thoughts are thoughts. CBS Sports, latest NFL mock draft. Vikings land the Ohio State University nose tackle Tyleik Williams. Let us know your thoughts. Our thoughts, comment section. You guys know what to do. Skol. Woo. Production value.